Spiral
from the Book of Saw.
From the Book of Saw. I'm the only one that's actually watched out of me and Rob at the moment, so we're going to do something a little different, like I said at the beginning. Rob's going to ask me some questions about the movie, and we're going to give it we'll call it a soft review.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it. So, so we hope you enjoy it, guys. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And let us know your thoughts on the film.
Yes, because this week is a lot different. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't watched the film. I'm not protesting against Spiral. Not at all. I've just been busy.
Yeah, I have not.
Yeah, so I've just not had time to get it done. Chad is a big fan of the Saw franchise.
I am, yes.
So I think it'd be good to get Chad's point of view across for the viewers who like to hear more about the movie, because he'll probably explain it in a much more better detail than I would, even though I'm looking forward to seeing the film. But yeah, I think this week, because I've not had a chance, we're going to do this instead. So, I mean, firstly, most of all, Chad, cinema, back open. How did it feel?
Amazing. It was very odd walking in because I was met by a very spotty teenage boy.
Right.
He was like, whoa, where you going? And I was like, well, I'm not there to eat a 3-course meal. I'm here to watch a film.
You
Obviously,
are open, aren't you?
Yeah, obviously. I was like, you're open. Why else would I be walking through here? And he was like, right, you need to come over here, and took me to this little section, and he was like, scan the app, and I had to do track and trace.
Right, okay.
The track and trace was broken straight away because I went on the first day that cinemas were back open.
So things weren't up to scratch?
Yeah, well, everyone was trying to use it, so it was crashing. So it took me about 15 minutes, but then I got to the front, and the lovely thing that happened, I got free popcorn because I was one of the first people in there.
Okay, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I got a free small popcorn, which is hard because I'm trying to diet. I ate it. It was just lovely to be back in there.
Yeah.
Everything about it. It was me and 3 other people. One was Alan Conway, who watches the show. Yeah. Alan.
Okay, so obviously Spiral is not a movie that is straight away being like... A lot of people, until they watched the trailer, didn't really understand that it was connected to Saw.
Yes.
I think people, because I mean, to be fair, to Saw as well, the cast list for this movie is quite impressive.
Oh, heavy. Yeah. This is the most impressive cast list they've had. Hands down.
Because Chris Rock is
Samuel
Jackson. But Chris Rock, for me, is not like... I wouldn't say he was a leading man. So, obviously, I've not seen the film yet. So
he's an A-lister, though.
He is definitely an A-lister.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hosted the Oscars, and he's done like lots of, obviously his days as a comedian, which he still does.
Yeah.
He does a lot of touring around the world.
Very, very, very accomplished comedian.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say of his time, of like in the 90s and stuff, he was a very important comedian. To see him in this kind of movie, I thought was quite impressive. But you obviously you've seen the film, so can you sort of explain? Is Spiral? Is it like a big difference in the Saw franchise, or like is it a black sheep?
I very much like this film.
Okay.
Very much like this film. I didn't expect... Well, obviously, if you watch our podcast on our most anticipated movies, I was very hesitant about it because I watched one trailer and I was like...
The one trailer that... Sorry to interrupt. The one trailer that came out, actually, I think didn't give hardly anything away.
No. Well, that's why I was a bit like... Because normally you watch a Saw trailer, it's like a trap, straight away, trap, bang, there.
Like between Saw and Spiral, how close are they?
Very different. Very different films. The best way that I described it, because one of my people I work with, one of my colleagues, that's the word I was looking for, asked me, they were like, what's it like? And the first thing that came out of my mouth is it's a detective movie, first and foremost. First and foremost, it's a detective movie. It's a detective movie that has Saw traps in it.
Right, okay.
And... The one thing I've seen a lot of people online, because this film's got a lot of hate, I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed this.
The first thing I saw from the newspaper in The Guardian, and it was 1 star. So straight away I thought, oh, this doesn't sound great. But then fans, including yourself, came along this week and they've said, you know what, I really enjoyed it.
It's a fresh take on Saw. That's what I can say. Like, a lot of people's problems it wasn't as gruesome. The traps... not the traps. The traps aren't toned down at all. The gore's toned down. Yeah. But the thing is, if you want to watch loads of gore, watch a snuff movie. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean go out and watch stuff, but do you know what I mean? Like, this film for me had the best story since the first one.
So do you think that, like, obviously with it being toned down in the gore sense, do you think maybe is it because they've already done that?
Yeah, of course. The thing is, like you said, me and you said at the beginning, this film is not a Saw film. This film is called Spiral. John Kramer, who is obviously Tobin Bell Jigsaw, is mentioned in it because obviously someone's copying his killings. That's the whole premise of the movie. Somebody's copying John Kramer. And you only see a picture of him. And I love the fact that, because every other Jigsaw film, you always get a flashback, don't you? Sorry, every other Saw film. And I got bored of that by what was it, the 8th one they did? Jigsaw?
That was a problem for me because when
Yeah.
I was watching, I think I got.
He
to the-
died in the 3rd one.
Yeah, that's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
That's not a spoiler.
No.
Anyone in the horror community will know that.
Yeah.
But for me, when I was going into, I think I went into Saw 4. I think I watched it. I can't remember. I know I watched Saw 3, but like every single film I knew was just going to be the same going forward, and that's why I was getting more put off because, like I say, the formula was exactly the same. You know, they would show a recent situation regarding someone being, in a game facing a trap, and then suddenly you go back to their life and how they got to that moment.
Literally, after the 3rd one, 4 to 8 or whatever, it might be 7, were all just flashbacks. Well, am I wrong? Do you know what I mean?
Like I say, I didn't watch them that
And
far.
all of them was like, you'd be like, right, you'd get like 5 minutes in the film, you're like, flashback. You're like, okay, and then you're like, another 5 minutes, flashback. And it was all just, pardon me, it was just nonsense in the end. And don't get me wrong, I still adore the Saw franchise, all of it together, it's fun time. But I hated that people, because this film was never built as another Saw film. This film was built as a film to do with Saw. And hands down, this film has got the best acting in any Saw film, more than the first one.
Okay, that's good.
Chris Rock, Samuel Jackson.
So straight away, they're sort of, they're up in the game. They're sort of bringing,
100%.
they're probably taking maybe the best of what they can from the franchise of Saw and then making it to sort of like whatever they can do with it next type of thing. But,
but the thing is, though, it's like, obviously, on the internet, I don't know if this make people cringe or yourself, but I hear people being called gore hounds.
Yeah.
Which is, someone that's after that kill. If you want to watch that, watch Hostel. Do you know what I mean? Watch something like that. I think if you're a true fan of the franchise, you will like this film.
Okay.
If you don't like this film, then you just did it for the gore.
How was Chris Rock as the lead then? So
Amazing.
Was he
Amazing.
So he controlled it.
Chris Rock has always been a comedy actor. I've never seen him anything too straight.
Right.
And this he pulled off beautifully.
Okay.
Everything about him. He obviously he's a cop from New York, I think.
Okay.
And the Jigsaw copycat is killing specific police officers in the NYPD.
Right. Okay.
That's the premise. That's not a spoiler. That's literally the premise of the film. But a few years back, Chris Rock turned in a dirty cop.
Right.
And all the other cops hate him for it. So he's hated in that film.
So he's part of the anti-corruption kind of thing.
Kind of, but he plays looking over his shoulder very well, if that makes sense. Like, he's always like, oh no, these people got the back, and we're going to get stabbed in the back. Yeah. And he plays that perfectly. Samuel Jackson is Chris Rock's father in it.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they're pretty close in age, right?
Samuel Jackson, believe it or not, is in his 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Chris Rock is in his 50s. I think Samuel Jackson is early 70s.
So he could be his father. He could be his father.
In film world, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, if he's 20 years older than him.
No, I think he's... Well, I have no idea how old Chris Rock is. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's know. Anyway, that's the only thing to me that was far-fetched, because obviously Samuel Jackson looks great for his age, and so does Chris Rock.
Yes, I agree.
And I didn't see Samuel Jackson being his dad.
Yeah, okay.
I think a older gentleman, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, for me, that film, don't believe the hate. I think if you like the Saw franchise, go and watch it for yourself and decide yourself. Don't listen to people.
No, because I must admit, I've seen that one little one-star review, not read it, but seen it.
Yeah.
And but since then, everyone else has come along who are actual film fans, not actually, not getting paid to write about anything. They are actually coming out saying, do you know what? I really had good fun with it. And I think it's because, I think a lot of people probably went into Spiral thinking a lot of bad things because by the time the Saw franchise ended, in its current phase, I think people were just thinking, it's going to be a cheap run-of-the-mill horror film, and I think people are getting a lot more from that.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's got legs to stand on for so? Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it. I don't know myself, but. Do you think we're going to see a new franchise?
110%.
Really? Do you think it's going to be something?
110%.
We're going to see something going forward that's going to be creating another franchise of Saw, but a bit different.
We will 100% get a sequel.
Good.
100%. I will bet my only child will get a sequel.
Because when the first Saw film came out, as we spoke recently in one of our reviews on the original movie, obviously at the time, that film that film blew up in the indie scene because it was not expected. We all expected. I remember watching it thinking, yes, it'd be an easy film to watch, and it was a film I thought about for weeks on end afterwards. And so do you reckon Spiral's going to have that same effect, or? But I suppose it's quite hard to have the same effect when, like I say, once you've been when you're 8 films deep into a franchise, and then you try and recreate it.
I hope not. And I don't think so. The only reason I don't think so is because I don't think Chris Rock would cheapen himself to more than one more sequel.
Okay.
I think if we get a third, a fourth, and a fifth, Chris Rock will have to either die in the next one or quit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, we've spoken about this before, but Chris Rock had his hand like in having the film made, didn't he? It wasn't just like an actor.
He was a producer, wasn't he? Not?
Yes, I think so.
He was a
Yeah.
producer.
So I think he's a big part of you know. He obviously believed in the project quite well. But I have other questions, which is going to be, what was it? Excuse me. Details here. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much done.
Pretty much done, really.
Because we don't want to give too much away, do we? That's the thing. We don't want to give anything away because it's relatively new, and we want you to watch. I want Rob to watch it as well.
I will get around to it. I do want to see it because, and at the same time, I've said this before, but I love it when sometimes I've not seen a film and then someone who has seen it, and then if they love it and they buzz about it, that makes me buzz for movies because that's how I got into films. Because my dad was constantly telling me stories about movies that that I'd not seen, and I was too young for at the time. So when the time came to watch films, it was great. So hearing Chad's opinion about Spiral is making me want to watch it. So it will get done very soon. But how many? So this is a difficult one now.
Well, I'm just thinking that myself. So normally we do a gimmick with how many we're going to get out of 10. Yeah. So I'm going to say something, and then when you watch it, and you guys watch it, you'll know one about pig puppets.
Okay then. So Chad, how many pig puppets? Pig puppets?
Pig puppets.
would you give Spiral?
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
7.
Okay.
7.5. No, 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah. It's a decent film.
It's not a long film, is it?
No, hour and 33, I think.
Like very much like the first film.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's for me, it's more of a thriller than a horror, but there's a fine line between thriller and horror.
Yeah, I mean, you've got films like Seven that did a great way. Like,
it's like Seven. That's perfect analysis,
That's the vibe I got from the trailer.
It's very much like Seven.
And I thought to myself, this looks a bit like a Seven kind of movie.
It's very good. It's very good. 7.5, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good film. Watch it.
So, like I say, if you get a chance to go to the cinema, and of course, more than anything, if you feel safe.
Wear your mask, whatever, and they do the spacing of seats out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, which is always good.
In my previous experience before the recent lockdown, the last lockdown, when I went to the cinema then, I felt more safer than anywhere.
Yeah.
In the cinema. But of course, if you get a chance to watch it, then please, of course, as always, comment below. But
definitely.
But no, that wraps up this episode.
Yeah, let us know what you think of what we've done here, because this is new for us, isn't it? Normally we do a review, but
exactly,
like a Q&A.
This is a bit of a Q&A.
Yeah.
To be fair, we might do it on other films going forward.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll watch one before me. And...
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like I say, I like to get sometimes the thoughts. I mean, sometimes, it's just a bit different, I think, to try things. So, but anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, guys.
See you at the next
Like, subscribe, and other such apparatuses.